In this video, we're uncovering something you don't usually hear on the red carpet. We're talking about Jewish actors who've helped shape the heart of entertainment as we know it. Stick around till the end, and you'll be surprised who's on the list. Harrison Ford, best known as Indiana Jones and Han Solo, proudly embraces his Jewish roots from his mother's side. Stephen Lang, the fierce Colonel Quaritch from Avatar, comes from a Jewish family and has spoken about his heritage in interviews. Seth Green, the voice of Chris Griffin and creator of Robot Chicken, adds humor and heart to Hollywood as a proud Jewish actor. Michael Douglas, an Oscar-winning legend, has explored his Jewish identity more deeply in recent years, even celebrating his son's bar mitzvah in Israel. Seth Rogen, the comedic genius behind Superbad and Pineapple Express, often weaves his Jewish upbringing into his work with sharp wit and bold humor. Liev Schreiber, known for his intense performances in Ray Donovan and Spotlight, proudly traces his Jewish roots through his mother's family. Sean Penn, the two-time Oscar winner, comes from a secular Jewish background and has long been a powerful voice in both film and activism. Armie Hammer, best known for Call Me By Your Name, has Jewish heritage on his father's side that connects him to a lineage of notable historical figures. Mel Brooks, the comedy legend behind The Producers and Blazing Saddles, has never shied away from celebrating his Jewish identity through satire and brilliance. Joaquin Phoenix, the Oscar-winning actor from Joker, was born into a complex family background that includes Jewish ancestry from his maternal side. Henry Winkler, forever beloved as the Fonz, is not only a pop culture icon, but also a proud Jewish actor who has spoken fondly about his upbringing. Ted Levine, who famously played Buffalo Bill in The Silence of the Lambs, has Jewish roots that shaped his family's story in America. Dustin Hoffman, a powerhouse of American cinema with films like Rain Man and The Graduate, has long acknowledged his deep Jewish heritage. Jon Favreau, the visionary behind Iron Man and The Mandalorian, comes from a Jewish background and has built a career fusing creativity with cultural pride. Logan Lerman, the star of Percy Jackson and Hunters, proudly represents a younger generation of Jewish actors making waves in Hollywood. Woody Allen, the legendary filmmaker and writer, has infused his Jewish background into decades of neurotic, witty, and award-winning cinema. Ron Perlman, famed for his roles in Hellboy and Sons of Anarchy, was raised in a Jewish household in New York, a foundation that shaped his bold screen presence. Matthew Broderick, forever Ferris Bueller in our hearts, comes from a mixed background that includes strong Jewish roots through his mother. Billy Crystal, the comedy legend behind When Harry Met Sally and City Slickers, proudly carries his Jewish heritage into every heartfelt joke and performance. Andrew Garfield, the amazing Spider-Man star, has Jewish ancestry through his paternal grandparents and has spoken warmly about that connection. Simon Helberg, beloved as Howard Wolowitz on The Big Bang Theory, draws directly from his Jewish upbringing for many of his hilarious and heartfelt performances. Robert Downey Jr., known around the globe as Iron Man, has a mixed heritage that includes a Jewish father, contributing to the complex mosaic of his life story. Albert Brooks, a master of dry wit and brilliant screenwriting, was born Albert Einstein into a devout Jewish family and has made a career out of turning intellect into laughs. Ben Stiller, the comedy star of Zoolander and Night at the Museum, comes from a proud Jewish showbiz family and often weaves that identity into his characters. Eric Dane, best known as McSteamy from Grey's Anatomy, has Jewish ancestry through his mother and has embraced that cultural connection in his personal journey. Andy Samberg, the Brooklyn Nine-Nine star and comedy dynamo, was raised in a Jewish household and often brings that humor and heritage into his work. Jeff Goldblum, known for his quirky brilliance in Jurassic Park and The Fly, comes from a Jewish family and exudes charm with a cultural twist. Sacha Baron Cohen, the fearless creator of Borat and Ali G, draws heavily from his Jewish upbringing to satirize stereotypes and provoke thought. Richard Dreyfuss, the Oscar-winning star of The Goodbye Girl and Jaws, has always been open about his strong Jewish identity and activism. Adam Sandler, comedy icon and the man behind Uncut Gems and Happy Gilmore, proudly weaves his Jewish heritage into countless songs and sketches. Jack Black, the wild heart of School of Rock and Tenacious D, is part of a Jewish family and brings that eclectic spirit to every outrageous role. Brent Spiner, best known as Data in Star Trek: The Next Generation, hails from a Jewish family in Houston and has long embraced his roots. Chris Pine, the dashing captain in Star Trek, has Jewish ancestry through his maternal grandfather, adding yet another dimension to his Hollywood legacy. Peter Berg, director of Friday Night Lights and Lone Survivor, was raised Jewish and channels that background into his intense, character-driven stories. Hank Azaria, the voice behind dozens of Simpsons characters, proudly acknowledges his Sephardic Jewish heritage and brings that richness into his versatile performances. Ben Foster, known for intense roles in Hell or High Water and The Survivor, was raised in a Jewish household and brings raw depth to every performance. Jason Segel, the lovable star of How I Met Your Mother and Forgetting Sarah Marshall, comes from a Jewish family and infuses his humor with heartfelt authenticity. Steven Seagal, the action star of the 90s, has Jewish ancestry through his paternal grandparents, adding a lesser-known layer to his complex public persona. Gabriel Match, best known as Harvey Specter in Suits, proudly represents his Jewish roots both on screen and off. Adrien Brody, who made history as the youngest Best Actor Oscar winner for The Pianist, comes from a Jewish family and brought real-life emotion to his role as a Holocaust survivor. Jason Isaacs, famed for playing Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter, is open about his Jewish background and often speaks out against anti-Semitism. Daniel Day-Lewis, the legendary three-time Oscar winner, has Jewish heritage through his mother, making him a descendant of British Jewish intellectuals. Adam Brody, beloved for his role in The O.C., comes from a Jewish family and often plays characters who reflect his laid-back charm and wit. Christopher Guest, the genius behind This Is Spinal Tap and Best in Show, has Jewish ancestry and a comedic legacy rooted in observational brilliance. Daniel Radcliffe, the face of Harry Potter, has Jewish ancestry on his mother's side and has embraced that identity throughout his career. David Arquette, known for his role in the Scream franchise, comes from a family rich in showbiz and proudly Jewish roots. Harvey Keitel, the gritty star of Reservoir Dogs and The Piano, was raised in a deeply Jewish Brooklyn household that shaped his powerful presence. Jake Gyllenhaal, a Hollywood A-lister with roles in Nightcrawler and Brokeback Mountain, was raised in a Jewish family and often reflects on his spiritual background. Mandy Patinkin, the beloved star of The Princess Bride and Homeland, is deeply connected to his Jewish faith and heritage, often weaving it into his music and roles. John Francis Daly, from Freaks and Geeks to directing Game Night, comes from a Jewish background and blends intellect with creativity in every project. James Franco, the star of 127 Hours and Pineapple Express, has Jewish ancestry through his mother and has acknowledged his heritage in interviews. David Schwimmer, Forever Ross from Friends, was raised in a Jewish household and has used his platform to support Jewish causes and education. Paulo Costanzo, known from Road Trip and Royal Pains, has Jewish heritage that adds to the cultural richness of his background and career. Jonah Hill, a comedy powerhouse in Superbad and a dramatic force in Moneyball, often references his Jewish upbringing with pride and humor. Corey Feldman, an 80s icon from The Goonies and Stand By Me, was raised Jewish and has remained open about how that shaped his early life in Hollywood. Ben Barnes, the charming star of Shadow and Bone and The Chronicles of Narnia, has Jewish ancestry through his South African mother and brings quiet depth depth to his roles. Zac Efron, the heartthrob from High School Musical to The Iron Claw, proudly claims his Jewish heritage from his father's side. Rob Reiner, the legendary director of The Princess Bride and A Few Good Men, was raised in a prominent Jewish entertainment family that shaped his creative vision. Sean Astin, beloved as Samwise Gamgee in The Lord of the Rings, was raised in a family with Jewish roots and has embraced that heritage over the years. Shia LaBeouf, the intense actor behind Transformers and Honey Boy, was raised Jewish by his mother and even had a bar mitzvah. Jeremy Piven, best known for playing Ari Gold on Entourage, comes from a Jewish acting family and channels that energy into his dynamic performances. David Duchovny, the iconic face of The X-Files, has Jewish ancestry on his father's side and brings a thoughtful, intellectual edge to his work. Jesse Eisenberg, the fast-talking star of The Social Network, is proudly Jewish and often plays roles that reflect his sharp wit and introspective nature. Eli Roth, the horror maestro behind Hostel and Cabin Fever, channels his Jewish identity into films that push boundaries and challenge fear. Kevin Kline, the refined actor of A Fish Called Wanda and Sophie's Choice, has Jewish roots on his mother's side and a legacy of elegance in every role. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the star of Inception and 500 Days of Summer, comes from a Jewish family and blends intellect with artistic flair in everything he does. Harry Connick Jr., a jazz icon and actor, has Jewish ancestry through his mother, adding another soulful layer to his rich musical and acting legacy. Judd Nelson, forever known as the rebellious Bender in The Breakfast Club, is proudly Jewish and helped define a generation of 1980s cinema. Paul Rudd, everyone's favorite ageless funnyman from Ant-Man and Clueless, was raised in a Jewish family and often brings that warmth and humor to his roles. Jason Schwartzman, quirky star of Rushmore and the Grand Budapest Hotel, was born into a Jewish-Italian showbiz dynasty with creativity in his DNA. Adam Goldberg, known for Saving Private Ryan and Dazed and Confused, has proudly represented his Jewish heritage both on screen and behind the camera. William Shatner, the iconic Captain Kirk from Star Trek, was born to a Jewish family in Montreal and boldly brought his heritage into the pop culture galaxy. Alan Rosenberg, a veteran of screen and stage best known for L.A. Law, has long embraced his Jewish identity throughout his acting career. Eric Balfour, recognized from 6 Feet Under and Haven, comes from a Jewish family and brings an edge of mystery to every performance. And there you have it. Which actor surprised you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you. Don't forget to like this video, share it with fellow movie lovers, and subscribe for more amazing Hollywood deep dives.